Welcome back to the Center on Buffalo podcast. We're joined once again by Bills wide receiver Khalil Shakir. Welcome back on the podcast, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got to know this. How cold were you out on the field during the game yesterday?
There hasn't been many times where I've walked out on the field and yeah, we know it's cold, but like where I've walked out and was like, this is cold, cold. Like this is I don't know. It was one of those things where usually you're playing ball and no matter what the weather is, you get past that hump of whatever the weather is. But it was pretty cold last night.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, I generally are hanging out pregame. I'll see both teams come out. I watched you guys and the Patriots roll out on the field. I felt that my feet were cold through my Jordans. I had socks on and foot warmers, and my feet were getting cold just standing on the turf. So I went back up in the booth pretty quick, and our window is open for the broadcast. So I was absolutely freezing during the game, but I didn't have to be out in the full elements. And I always said when I was playing in Buffalo, like when we were on the sideline, you got the parka, you could be by the heaters, all good. Just do not get caught during a TV timeout or review or any of that out on the field because that wind starts cutting and it's something different up there in Buffalo. But do you wear anything special like underneath your uniform? I don't believe you didn't wear sleeves yesterday, did you?
No, I did not. Nope.
All right, so no sleeves. Are you worried about the ball slipping, or is that just like a little intimidation?
No, I think it's more just since I was at Boise State, my one of the running back coach, he didn't allow any skill players to wear sleeves. Just with the ball, and as you said, the slipping with the sleeves. So since then, it's just kind of been a thing. I've only worn sleeves once, uh, in the past like 7 years, and that's been when we played in Chicago my rookie year.
Oh,
The wind and the wind chill was like negative something, and I couldn't. I had to throw the sleeves on. Typically, I'll go no sleeves, but last night I was close. I was close to it, but I do a whole bunch of things to try and stay warm. I put like they have like these like sticky heat pads they're really look like stickers, and yeah, I put one on my stomach, one on my back, and then had two shirts on under. Tried doing the little toe warmer thingies to slip them in the cleats. That probably lasted maybe the first quarter, and then it was out.
yeah.
But other than that, it's yeah, you just when you're on the sideline, get on the heated bench and the little heat warmer thingies that are blowing out the heat, and after that, just try and keep warm to the best of your ability.
I used to wear it was almost like a scuba suit, but it didn't have long sleeves on it, and I didn't have like the full body deal. But at least keep your stomach cold or keep your stomach warm the best of your ability. Like try and keep that core right, and then hopefully the rest of your body doesn't get too cold. But when it's cold like that, the ball is going to get harder. It can get slicker. How much tougher is it to catch the football in that?
It's tough. I mean, typically you it's ideal when you have the hand warmer and then the hand warming pouches heated up, and then the hand warmer, and in between plays you can kind of stick your hands in there. But as you get to running, that the wind and the hand motion of moving your hand up and down when you're running, just like every step, like your hands and swing of the arms, like your hands kind of get colder and colder. It makes it a little bit tougher, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you can try and put it on your body a little bit
Yeah.
to the best of your ability, I would say it gets a little tougher for sure. Your fingers, the tip of your fingers. It's not even like the whole hand. It's like the tip of your fingers just start like kind of stinging a little bit. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a little bit tougher, but still should be able to get the job done.
Let's take a quick break to hear from one of our sponsors. That's Danos Seasoning. This will make a great gift this Christmas season. Bless one of your loved ones with the gift of Danos, the gift of flavor, all natural ingredients, no sugar. You are going to love every one of them in the lineup, and check out the new purple top, the Cajun seasoning. It's just the right amount of spice. Yum, yum. Get you some. Go check it out at danoseasoning.com or a retailer near you. What are your thoughts on the red uniforms?
I love them. I love them.
Yeah.
It was a funny thing. So the past 4 games, or really most of the games this season, I've been keeping my jerseys, and the jersey that I keep, I give them to one of my family members, whether it be my siblings, or one of my parents or something like that. And this weekend, I had I think two LA game. I gave it to my little brother. Detroit game gave it to my older brother, and then this game, my sister was in town, and I was supposed to give the jersey to my sister. Well, I love the red jerseys,
Yep.
so. I kept it for myself, but luckily I had a extra white one in the garage that I gave to her. But yeah, I don't like giving the red ones away. I like keeping as many of those as possible and hanging them up in the future.
Yeah, I like them too. I preferred the red on red in the past. And I think at some point we got to bring back the 90s throwback with the red helmet, the blue jersey, the white pants. I just think that'd be a clean look. When I first got to the Bills, our alternate was, and it hardly looked different than our regular white uniforms, but it was the all white with the throwback buffalo on the side of the
Mhm.
helmet. It was like the original 1960s. That's one that I still got. Like, that's one of the jerseys I got framed at the house. We
Yeah,
actually wore them at my first start in the NFL. So I got that one framed, but I always enjoyed the red uniforms. They kind of remind me of like I'd watch film and it reminded me of my college tape at University of Louisville. But I thought it was a clean look against the Patriots. And I understand like the Christmas aspect of it. So you wear the red, but
yeah,
against the
yeah.
Patriots, I would look out at the field and it almost looked like, it was hard to like picture the game with the Bills not in white and the Patriots not in red from them wearing those in the past. But it's all good. Are you a big jersey swap guy after the game?
I mean, I jersey swapped a little bit my rookie year, a little bit last year, but I typically just try and jersey swap with guys that I either grew up playing with or college guys. I have yet to somebody that I guess perhaps look up to, or a big star in my position. I've yet to ask somebody for that. For me, it's more just like if I had a played youth football with you at some point, or like I said, back in Boise State, I'll swap with you because I kind of like the look where we were at before and look at us now type of thing.
Yep.
So I try and stick with that. This year, I don't think I've jersey swapped, but yeah, I usually just try and keep it to people that I personally know.
I like that approach. I knew Von Miller throughout my career. We had the same agent, so we'd play in golf tournaments and stuff together. And he wanted to do a jersey swap when we played out in Denver, and we lost out in Denver, and that essentially eliminated us from the playoffs. And I technically gave up a sack to Vaughn because our quarterback dove in the ground and Vaughn was closest one to him. So I
Mm.
told Vaughn after the game, I was like, there's no way I can walk back into your locker room after we got eliminated from the playoffs with your jersey. And I believe you got credit for a sack on me today. Like, that's just not a look an offensive lineman could have. So, and jersey swaps weren't, or they're not as popular with O linemen anyways, but they became more and more popular kind of towards the end of my career. But Vaughn was like, what do you mean? Like, let's swap. I was like, dude, I can't walk in the locker room with no jersey on and face my teammates like that. I
Yeah,
just felt
yeah.
like at the time it was a bad look, but it's so common now. It's not a big deal. But
Right, right.
you guys got the Jets coming up this week. Obviously, Deion Dawkins always talks about how bad he hates the Jets. Spencer Brown was all over the Jets the last game. Does
Yeah.
that hatred for the Jets, does that resonate through the entire offense?
I think it's the O line and their D line. They definitely go at it. I think for me personally, I know this game means a lot to me. That was when we first played them. That was my first game back after I had messed up my ankle, and I was didn't wasn't as effective as I wanted to be. So I think this game is kind of like, all right, let's obviously outperform, hopefully by a lot, what I did the last game when I was out there. But I wouldn't say that I have any like internal like hate for them or anything like that. I think it's just, I mean, we play them twice a year, and you got guys who've played them twice a year, year after year after year, and it just builds up. You have the same guys on the roster, and it just kind of builds up that battle every single time, and so I would say, and when you're in the trenches too, those guys are literally going at it every single play. So
Right.
I would say it's probably just a lot going on between them, but I don't have any like I said, internal beef with any of their DBs or anything like that. It's all love.
Yeah, it's fun watching Spencer and Dion out there. It's not fun watching Dion get a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct in between a quarter change, which I've never seen before. But
Oh
apparently, that was
yeah.
him and one of their trainers, not even necessarily one of their players. All right, quick shout out to Prime, keeping me hydrated. These guys keeping me caffeinated through the holiday season, keeping me right, keeping me a little bit more positive around the kids with a little caffeine buzz throughout the day. So shout out to Prime. All right. So the last time you came on the podcast, you talked about in the offseason, you're training, trying to be more explosive, be able to separate better. Have you seen that work paying off this season?
Yeah, I feel like I've done a lot better with the what I've done after the catch.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been like I said, that was a main focus for me, is just, turning a 5 yard catch into a, 30, 40, 50 yard run. I think it's something that's definitely been improved on, but it's more now at this point where I'm at today is the consistency of it. Last night I didn't feel like I was consistent enough with what I have, prepped for during the whole off season. And I know it's not going to happen every week. Nobody's perfect. It's hard to be every single week to do that again and again and again. But just the competitor that I am, I want to keep, stacking bricks and keep, continuing to show the explosive player that I am.
I love that mindset. Totally. Have you got any bits of advice or have you added anything to your weekly prep or game day routine? Being around some veterans this year that are new to the squad, Holland, Samuel, Cooper comes in. Have you added anything because of those guys?
Yeah, I would say one thing about Mac is like his mentality is contagious. His energy is contagious, and like just the way he attacks every single day. He's making sure that he brings that energy every single day. He's definitely the loudest one on the field, and the consistency of that is unreal. Like it's every day in practice, every game day. The way he shows up every single day, it's like hard. Some days you might show up and you're like, man, it's gonna be a long day, and then Mac walks in and boom, he's lit. He's talking mess, and he's doing what he usually does, and that kind of just lights a fire under you. So I would say Max like the definition of a glue guy. He just really brings people together. So I would say I've learned from him is just like speaking things into existence. Like when you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you say you want this, keep speaking that and it'll come true. So I've learned a lot from him as far as like mentality, not just towards the game, but just life in general. But yeah, I would say that's definitely the big one. But I would say with all the new guys, especially like Coop, just like the professionalism, like the way they approach the game is unreal. So just every day I watch those guys and just try and take something from their day and seeing them what they do, whether it's on the field or in the film study room, and try and implement that into my life as well.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, let's stay on Mac for a second. Have you implemented any of his life hacks from social media into your life?
Nah, it's funny that I say that he definitely has a huge influence on my year so far for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that I'm not a big fan of if I'm like it's 8 o'clock and I'm scrolling on TikTok and Mac pops up on my TikTok. I'm like, all right, I was just with this dude all day, So like I don't think I've used any of his hacks. Actually, a few of his hacks, there have been a few items, whether it's from the kitchen or something like that, that are actually mine. I'll get a text from him, "Hey, you got this, you got that," and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't, here, take it and do whatever you need to do with it. Just make sure you bring it back." But that's funny when I pop a video and it's my blender or whatever. But it's funny. I haven't used any of his life hacks. The one, I think there's one he jumped in the or sat in the snow. No way I would ever do that. But there actually are a lot of them I do go, I've never thought to do that before, but I've yet to try it.
Oh my gosh, some of the stuff is one fascinating. Two, like when he was talking about how to clean the blender, you essentially put the water back in, then you run the blender
Yeah.
again. This I was like, that is genius, and I'm not sure why I thought of that. And to me, it's like he pops up, and I'm like, well, let me give this just 1 second, and then I found myself watching the whole thing. And I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that's why he does it. I haven't tried to implement any of the dances. He was doing something yesterday. It was like some type of dance that he was trying to teach you how to do, whatever. But that
Yeah.
dude, it's funny. Ryan Fitzpatrick had played with him in Miami and was like, "Hey, Bills just picked this dude up. You guys are gonna love him. He's an awesome dude. He's an underrated player. This and that, and he
Mhm.
has made a huge impact this year. One of my favorite
Oh,
things
yeah.
he does is when he knows it's going to be a touchdown, but not even like no one. Everyone's like still blocking or kind of doing their job, but he'll be away from the play and he's celebrating the touchdown
Yeah.
before it even happens. When you all see that on film, are you like, all right, Max saw another one?
Yeah, yeah, that's him. That's him right there. He's the and I've noticed too, if it's we score a touchdown or if the defense gets a takeaway or something like that, like he's always in the mix. Like he's the first one down there running from the sideline. Like it's crazy, and that's what I mean by like the consistency of the dude is unreal. Like he has that same energy towards every single individual on the team. Like anybody can make a big play, and he'll be right there behind him. Point his finger in the air. So like, it's dope for sure.
Yeah, he's getting in all the celebration pictures. I saw him in the Cam Lewis celebration yesterday down in the end zone after the interception. Like Mac Hollins is in there, like, wait, why is Mac Hollins here? Oh, because he ran
Yeah.
down from the sideline to celebrate. That's awesome. I love that. All right. So, generally the quarterback's going to get the offensive line a gift. Does Josh get you guys gifts?
I think the O line and the QB connection is definitely the most important. So I think
Yeah.
they take care of each other. We do our own secret Santa in the wide receiver room. That I'm not sure how it's going to go this year. We're supposed to be exchanging the gifts tomorrow. I can just come out right now and say my gift is late, so to whoever I got, I'll have to do some explaining tomorrow. But I'm curious to see how it's going to go. I mean, you have, like I said, it's a lot of new faces in there, and it's easier to get somebody a gift if you've been around them for 2, 3, 4 years.
Right.
But most of us, this is the first year we all been around each other, so it's been a lot of scrambling to try and figure out what to get each other. But it'll be funny to see how it turns out.
Is there like a minimum amount you have to spend or any rules or
Yeah,
anything?
yeah, our minimum is 1,000. We usually there has been rules in the past. This year, like I said, since there are a lot of new faces, we just kept it, just $1,000, spend $1,000 minimum. Typically, I know in the past it's been like you'll say like, nothing boring, like no electronics, like that's easy. It's easy to, buy somebody TV, iPhone, iPad, and kind of put that all together. We've said like no clothes before, no shoes, but this year it's get them whatever. The one thing that we do that for sure is not allowed typically is you can't just hand somebody $1,000 cash. Like
Right.
that's just no effort at all. You have to show a little bit. But I'm not sure. I think we have a few guys who legit don't celebrate Christmas in our room.
Wow.
Um, and I don't know what their plan is. And like I said, we've been pretty lenient with just the rules in general. So I would not be surprised if there is a couple here. Here's $1,000 in cash. I don't celebrate.
Yeah. We used to do ours in the offensive line room. We had a rule that if we all voted and whoever got voted the worst gift, like you gave the worst gift, then you had to give them the $1,000 as well. So they got to keep the gift.
Ah,
So you had to hand them the receipt. They get the gift. They can go take that back. Plus, they get $1,000 cash because we voted that the worst one. Some years it wouldn't be like, we're not trying to like pick on guys, but it just
mhm,
prevented people from being able to, just go get a PlayStation and 10
yeah.
games, and I spent $1,000. I checked the box, and so yeah, we would vote, and then guys would get super sensitive, like that's not a weak gift, that was legit. Your gift sucks. Like, well,
Yeah.
we're the oldest, so
That's
yeah,
good.
we
That's
got
I
that.
like that. That's good.
Yeah, that was a good rule to implement to make sure everyone stayed in it. All right, last one for me. Boise State got a big one coming up against Penn State.
Mhm.
Boise State gonna be able to pull it off at home?
I think so. I think so. I think their run game is exceptional. Their O line is really good. They're obviously their running back. In my eyes, call me biased or not, I think he should have won the Heisman,
Yeah.
and that's not a knock to Travis Hunter at all. I think he's a great player as well. But of course, I'm a rock for my fellow Boise State guy. I think they'll be able to pull it off. I think you know defense. I think they'll step up. I think it's going to be a tough one for sure. I think their toughest challenge yet, but they've showed they can go, toe to toe, with Oregon and top teams in the country. So I think it'll be a better turnout than people might be expecting.
Yeah, and I'm pulling for him because my man Herb Street's been dogging all the blue bloods of college football, saying we
Yeah.
need to put the best teams in. It doesn't matter about wins, loss. Well, then my Cardinals probably won't ever get in if that's the route we go. And then why even pay attention to the regular season at all? If Boise does pull this off, though, just keep in mind, don't celebrate it too hard at the facility. Terry Pagula, massive supporter of Penn State athletics. So do not rub that in too hard
Yeah.
with
I'll make sure I don't.
a pending contract extension potentially and all that. Make sure you take it easy on him in
Yeah.
that regard. But hey, brother, good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully, bring home some hardware at the end of the season. Stay healthy, and I appreciate the time, brother.
Yeah. But like I said before, appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. I know you've been seeing these awesome t-shirts I've been rocking on the podcast. Go check them out at bluecheesemafia.com. They will make an awesome Christmas gift for a loved one this holiday season, a birthday gift, whatever you want. Give it to the Bills fan in your life. They'll be sure to love it.